Good morning, everybody. It's a mini cheers with a mini coffee. Just made it. Just managed to get it done in time. I've been slightly distracted by BitLooney's stream, which I think is still going. And I had to close the window down because I think he's watching me on the stream. Well, anyway, it's complicated. I think he's trying to break the internet. He's definitely coming up with a plan how to break the internet, or at least break YouTube. How's everyone doing? Everyone have a good week? I hope so. It's a bit dark in here. That's fine. Just too bright normally. All the lights off is too dark. One light on makes me look weird. Makes me look sick. Anyway, pale skin, whatever. Got some stuff to show. I'm going to wait for some more people to come on first, and I'm going to get sidetracked at the very start with a hey Henrik. So people on BitLooney stream watching BitLooney watch me, something like that. Anyway, so I'm going to so there was just a discussion just before on BitLooney stream. He was looking at stuff on my website. Thank you very much for showcasing that stuff, BitLooney. And I know he was just shit stirring me, which is fine. We were looking at my OMGS3 board, and he made a comment about breaking some more I/O out. And I said, "There's no ability to break any more I/O out because of space constraint and stuff." So, they started with the whole, you should go 6-layer board, you should go blah 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 blah, whatever, which is fine. And there are a lot of people that will go to, hey, you can solve this by going more layers, and my general response to that is no, you can't. And so I'm going to show you the problem and why you can't, and also this whole 6 layers, 6 to whatever layer, $2 PCBs from JLC PCB. Let's have a quick look at that. Why it always happens to me, I'm a magnet for people telling me how to do things. That's okay. No, that's fine. It's totally fine. And I know he wasn't shit stirring. He was like trying to get my mind thinking and whatever, which is totally fine. So this has nothing to do with BitLooney, but I thought I'd quickly, let's have a look before we get into the other stuff. Yeah, thanks, Johnny. We'll have a quick look at this because it's yeah. Okay, so the whole 6 layers from $2, right, for 5 pieces, okay, for a 50 by 50 millimeter PCB. So apart from the fact that I panelize my boards and I can't manufacture my boards on 50 by 50 millimeters. Firstly, I need edge rails, so I'm losing at least 10 millimeters plus routing space. So I end up only being able to put a couple of boards on there, right? So, but that's beside the point. It's not even a price thing, okay? But we'll look at that as well. But, so with my OMG board, which you've seen in my thumbnail, actually let me, I'm going to take this off just for a second. Okay, that's cool. So if you look at my OMG board, at the back of the board, where my pads are, right? And so it looks like I have a lot of space. It looks like there's space there to add more pads to break out more I/O, but there isn't, right? And the reason there isn't is because that is not the window I wanted. That's the window I wanted. The reason there isn't is because of there's no space to put anything, okay? I've got traces here. Now you've got to remember how small this board is. This board is 25 by 10 millimeters in size. So that width across here is 10 millimeters. These traces look massive right now, but they're actually 0.27 millimeter width spaces, which is pretty much the smallest the JLC will support. And as it is, the trace width between them is the minimum width the JLC will support. So I cannot pack any more traces in there. So even if I went 50 layers, I physically can't get any traces from the chip to another layer. There is no space at all. Okay? Now, these are standard, or these are 0.2/0.45 millimeter vias. Because this is the ground pads, ground pad smaller. The ground pad is already tiny. Like this whole ground pad here is, it's 2 millimeters. That's only 2 millimeters there. Like it needs a ground pad, right? Anyway, so these vias are the smallest. They're actually just under the smallest JLC will do before they hit you with another pay jump, okay? And here's the problem. You look at this and you look at all they can do, free via in pad. Well, via in pad doesn't help me. I'm already doing via in pad, right? I've already got vias in pads. That doesn't help me, and I can't stick a via in these pads because they're 0.4 millimeters and they don't do vias that small, right? So the issue is, if I go to here, I'll click on this. No, that's not what I wanted. Go to order. Order now. Okay, let's order. So let's go to advanced, and I'll make it 50 by 50. Okay. 50 by 50, and it's now a $2 board. Watch. $2. Yay. So let's look at this, okay? $2. Well, my boards are 1 millimeter thick. Yep, still $2. Okay, cool. The Enig, great, we'll leave that alone. Yep. Now, this is for a 0.3 with a 0.4, 0.45 annular. I'm already under that. I'm already doing this one, okay? The second I click this, look at this. Oh, your price is $37 now. It's not $2 board anymore. It's $37 for the board.
Fartman says, may the Farth be with you.
Thanks, Christian. Okay? And that doesn't help me because that's what I'm already using. Okay? But let's go smaller. Let's go to their smallest one. Okay? Oh, look, we're $53 for the board. Not $2. $53. Now, my panels... let me see if I can... Have I got one here? Let me open up my panel for this board so we can get the size of the board, because I can't remember what it is. There's my panel, okay, for OMG boards. So we are 126 millimeters by 98.9. So 126 by 98.9. Well, we're $166 for the boards now. But hang on, I want them black. No, 171, actually, no, $203 for the boards now. And they're panelized, and so they're, I can't remember what they are, it's 4 by 7. So we're $203 for the boards, and only for 5 panels. Well, that's kind of useless for me. I normally order a minimum of, for my first run, I'll do a minimum of 25. Okay, so $247. That's a far cry from a $2 board. And none of this actually lets me add any more pads. Because even if I go to a smaller via, I really don't want to do it on my other board. I've got to be careful not to not to save this. Because even if I go here, even if I made this via here, 0.15 and 0.3, okay, watch this. I still, if I just duplicate that via, this still, look, I can't squeeze that size via between the traces because I'm already at the minimum width that JLC will support on any layers. So I physically, their smallest via won't fit between my traces, so therefore it doesn't matter how many thousands of layers I use, I can't get to the layers, right? So the whole number of layers is a fallacy. The issue, let me undo all that, just in case. The issue is that there's a minimum capability that they'll do, and anything under that, if I go, 0.1 millimeter trace, what'll happen is they'll manufacture it for me, but they'll say, hey, we can't guarantee this is going to work. You need to take responsibility. And if they do, if they make it and there's a problem with it, I'll lose my money, right? Now, there's also other costs that you don't see here. There's also a $15 fee on top of this because my boards are only 10 millimeters wide. So that's a nasty thing that I found out the other week when I ordered these, right? So suddenly we're up to $250 or $270, and I've got no extra capability going 6 layers. Anyway, that's just what I wanted to point out. So the $2 thing, that's why they invented buried. Well, but JLC don't offer buried vias. And going to a company that can do buried vias, it's going to triple my cost. But yes, that's why they invented, well, yeah. The point is you still have to get the via from, there's got to be an annular on some side, but yes. The fact is, it can't be done, not with JLC PCB, and their $2 thing, whatever. The second you break out of their, it's $2 for this, they go back to full price. They don't start charging on top of the $2, they just go back to full price. The $2 thing disappears. So I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, buried vias are super expensive and impossible to debug if you've got an issue on your board. So that's just something to consider. So it makes no sense for me to try to go to all those crazies to get a couple of more pads on the board, right? My board, my OMGS3 has got, which, funny story about releasing this. Anyway, it's got 17 I/O broken out on a 25 by 10 millimeter board. If you need more than 17 I/O, use a different board to make a pattern that only go half of the board. I mean, from layer 1. Yes, you need to use buried vias, Z80 user, but they are triple the price. Like at least triple the price. They're at least triple the price because JLC doesn't do them. So you need to go to a manufacturer that does, which means you're not getting the cheap JLC boards to start with. You're getting whatever the normal price is, right? And then on top of that, the manufacturers that'll do those type of things, they don't gang print the boards with other people's designs like JLC do. That's how they keep their costs down, JLC, PCB way, whatever else, is they'll take 50 people's designs, put them on one big sheet, and manufacture them all at the same time. If I go to a King Sun or somewhere else that'll do whatever I want, right? They'll do thinner traces, they'll do 0.1 millimeter micro vias, they'll do buried vias, they'll do whatever I want. They'll only run my boards by themselves, which means I have to pay a setup fee, which can be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of US dollars just for the setup fee, right? And then it's a dedicated run just on my boards, which makes them horrifically expensive. What? Yeah, you're missing, Dario, you're missing a bunch of costs there. So firstly, that's without shipping, okay? So they say that $25 is not correct, but anyway. So shipping adds an extra 50 US dollars, right? And sure, it amortizes over price, but that's not the point. The point is, I can get the boards for half that price, half the 50 cents per board. At 50 cents per board, this has given me nothing that I can't do on a 4-layer board, is what I'm saying. The point is not the per board cost, right? Take up the, what was his bet? I didn't see what the bet was. Hey Sienna, yeah, that's what they do. They'll take a whole bunch of people's designs and they'll fit them on a big, because when they run it, they'll run a big set of FR4. I don't know what their standard working sizes are, but like you would have seen it on Scotty's video or whatever else when he did a tour. That they've got big sheets, and they'll squeeze as many different designs on that as possible. And also, I didn't put in here, I haven't also checked impedance control, which I need on my boards. So anyway, for me, the same capability in a 4-layer board is $60 cheaper than if I do a 6-layer board. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to point that out. So the issue for me is there is no space. No space to break anything else out. Does it ever produce?
Looney Live says there is 1 pin more.
Where's there 1 pin more? Where can I get 1 pin more? I can't get anything in there. There are traces there. There's all traces here. There's all traces there. Plus, don't forget, I can't cut off my ground layer. As it is, this is already, I mean, that's a lot of broken ground here, right? Make it a challenge. But I don't want the challenge, thanks. I spent a lot of time working on OMGS3 to get it as small as I did and get everything fit and make it stable and thermally. Like you got to remember, where does the heat go on this? $3 coupon. Anyway, this was a challenge. And I'll tell you something else. This is the best RF I've done so far. My OMGS3 is performing awesome on the RF side. Anyway, I know he wants to cram another pad. I'll give you a pad. I'll just put a random pad on the board, but it won't be connected to anything. Is that okay? Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. Hey SDG, I'm not using RF sims. I'm using an actual VNA in Spectrum Analyzer. I don't simulate it. I'm actually measuring and then re-measuring, checking the bands on the Spectrum Analyzer. So, did bug the extra pin. Yeah, well, like, I don't know where he's going to put that wire though, because then it can't be soldered flat. Anyway, okay, so sidetracked, big time sidetracked. Thanks, BitLooney. Yeah, I'm using the Siglent VNA still, without any of the with only one of the bug fixes that they've ever fixed. Hey Mike, no, I don't do videos of me working on the VNA. Firstly, it's just because people shouldn't be learning from me on that type of stuff, and because it's just messy work. It's really messy work. Like, I actually really don't enjoy doing the RF stuff on boards. It's painful and messy. You know what? I've not said hi to everyone in the chat. I just realised, because I got instantly sidetracked. Thank you, BitLooney. I'm going to quickly run through the list and say hi to folks. Joe42, Antonio, hello, Mr. Who. Yep, BitLooney, Johnny, Sad Tuna. Oh, poor Tuna. Dutchorus, hi, Deshipu. Graham, hello. Embedded Hobbyist, Christian, Sid, hi, David SR, Mr. England, in meetings again. Rad Madness, Alan, hello. Michael, good morning, Michael, you're up early. Sienna, hello. Henrik, hi. Beata. Okay, it's jumped, going backwards. X Micron, hello. John Clayton.
10 minutes I will be.
10 minutes still? Okay, cool. I'm glad you caught some of the start. Mike, hi. Steve, STG Electronics. Hello. Secret Engineer. Hi. Have I got everyone? No? Constantine. Ian. Hello, Ian. Okay, I think I might have everyone. I'm scrolling backwards now. Oh, Z80 user. Nope, forgot Z80 user. Hello. Okay. Cool. Sorry about that. So, yeah, I was, as I said, I was watching LIVESTREAM. We took a left turn. Anyway, look, I don't get as excited anymore about trying to cram stuff into small things. So I'll tell you a funny story. This is a funny story. Okay? I got two funny stories. Firstly, this is a funny, not so funny story. My little OMG USB boards, yeah. I was going to launch my OMGS3 yesterday. But I can't because I don't have any of these because these don't work. Because I somehow wired the reset button wrong on them. So the reset button doesn't work on my little OMG USB boards. So I don't really want to release the OMG S3 boards without the USB boards. Hello, Bram. What software is what? If you're talking about the CAD stuff, that was KiCAD. So yeah, thankfully I didn't make many of them. I just made one panel. But they don't work. I mean, they work if you unplug them and plug them in. So what happened was I must have accidentally touched the button on a trace at some point when I was moving the buttons around, kind of getting them all straight. And so what KiCAD does, if you touch something onto another trace, it'll inherit that trace, like inherit the net. And so I've done that. And so, yeah, hey Bruce. So I accidentally did that and only realized yesterday when I was flashing my MicroPython build. So I hacked together an OMG with that, with an OMGS3 with an OMG USB, OMG, because I was working on getting I've already got CircuitPython build done and submitted, and I was working on my MicroPython build, and every time I flashed it and I went to reset it, it wouldn't reset, and I couldn't work out why. And so I dug into my board design and realized that I screwed the pooch on the reset button. The boards are already fixed and off at JLC. They're already getting redone at the moment. It's OMG. It's OM heebie-jeebies. Anyway, so it's been a while since I've made a really silly mistake like that. Anyway, thankfully there's nothing expensive on these boards. There's just a USB, buttons, and some whatever. But that was annoying. But I'll tell you the funniest story. The funniest story. So this is hilarious. So look, I've even got I've got them all packed. My OMG boards, they're packed. I've got I've been putting together 2 packs of them just to make packaging cheaper. Well, I have to cut the trace and then ground it. I have to it's under the button. So I could go and hack all the current panels I've got. Thankfully, they're only 2-layer boards. I could go and try to cut them and bodge them all, but it's just not worth it. Because it has to be done before I manufacture them. It can't be done after because they're underneath the button. Anyway, it is what it is. So my OMG S3 board, I gotta get one out. This is really funny. Here it is. I mean, it's really small. Like it really is. It looks huge on screen, but it's small. Yeah, it's so small, it fits down my sink drain. So when I'm cleaning them and rinsing them, and I'm not careful, guess how many you lose when they go down the drain? And they go into the drain pipe. So there are 3. There are 3 down my drain pipe. Which I'm just not getting them back. Like they're gone. I'm not even gonna. Hello, Hoover Phonic. I think maybe. Yeah. No, I do now. I had one. I wasn't using it. I've never had that problem before. Didn't occur to me. And the other thing is, I've got two, on my ultrasonic cleaner, I've got two different, what are they called? So you don't put the boards directly in the ultrasonic cleaner, you put them in a, like a colander, they're metal, they're stainless steel. Basket. Yeah, that'll do. Basket. Thanks, Max.
Alan Madsen says lol. You have a 3D printer. Mange something to your sink.
No, I had a thing. I've got one. I'm using it now. But even the basket, right? I've got two different baskets. And one of them, the holes are bigger. And I didn't even think it's the one I normally use because it's got, I prefer it anyway. And so I got on my boards. So all of my USBs and my OMGs, and I put them all into the basket, and they all fell through the basket into the cleaner. Like I pulled the basket out. There was like 3 boards left, and all the rest were just on the bottom of the ultrasonic cleaner. So it was funny. It really was. Like that was such a moment. Yeah, it was. So it's been a fun project. It really has. There's been a lot of firsts. Boards, the boards went down the drain. Okay. Oh, didn't say hello to Sean. Hello, Sean. Monster Mark, hello. Do you own an own company, Bram? This is my company, yeah. Unexpected Maker. Is that what you mean? Small desktop washing machine. You know what would happen if I had a small desktop washing machine? It would leak all over my desk. They dissolve. Sorry, I mean one piece of the net that block mosquitoes. Oh yeah, right, fly screen stuff. No, it's fine. I've got the thing that sits in the sink. I've got one. I just didn't have it in. It's in now. Hello, Q. I feel like James Bond saying that. It was pretty funny. Really, it was. Okay. Before we get on to KiCAD, I want to show you what happened after the stream last week. Wait, that doesn't make sense. What happened to the stream? After the stream last week, I finished the tic-tac-toe.
Unexpected maker. Play.
Watch this.
Found peer.
Sorry about the lighting, the glow. So they automatically found each other. They automatically work out who is the host. And he's being told to wait. And the host gets to pick if they're going to be crosses or circles. So I'm going to go circles. And then I'm going to... So they're both different brightnesses, but it lights up when it's your turn. And it goes dull when it's not your turn. And I can't do anything, right? So I'm going to go there. That's super bright. Just for shits and giggles. And then whoever wins, it flashes on both, the winner. And then switches sides, and the other person gets to choose what they're going to do. Let me go cross again. And if there's a draw, wow. I'm going to, just for now, I'm going to make it a draw. What am I doing? It goes straight into play again, right? So no one wins on that one. And then it'll just keep playing back and forwards. Oh my god. I don't know whose turn it is. Yay. Anyway, tic-tac-toe. Let's turn it off.
Menu. Power off. Goodbye. Menu.
Goodbye. I just want to show that. I did get that finished. And to answer the question that everyone's asking, well, no one's asked. Not sure if you can see. After a few false starts, I'm actually manufacturing RGB Touches. That's the first 13 here at the moment.
Alan Madsen says looks very nice. Well done.
Thanks, Alan. There was a few. I had an issue with the. Anyway, a couple of issues. I had about 28 cases that I printed that I couldn't use. Some of them already had the tops connected, which then can't be reused. Whatever. I've had to abandon a whole bunch of stuff and restart new cases again. Yes, I'm playing with myself on stream, John.
Mike Kennedy says, are they on the website?
Demonetized. They are, but they're currently as not available, or they're currently as coming soon, because they are. So if you go to shop, back to catalog, they're here. There is a wait list. I haven't fleshed this out yet. I want to get like 20, 25 of them ready to go. I've still got, the firmware, even though I've got that tic-tac-toe stuff going, none of the code is commented, or not very well. There's a whole bunch of code I need to put up there. I've got a CircuitPython build for it. I've got a MicroPython build, but hasn't been, there's no PR on it yet. But I'll host the MicroPython build myself for now, until that gets PR'd and included. Could take months. And yeah, I'm just getting stuff together at the moment, still, for it all. Comments about the exchange, playing with yourself, and coming soon. What? So many comments about that exchange. Oh, right. Yes. Hey, Peter. Hey, I'm going back. Sorry if I was explained already. What's the reason you use pads instead of, which would be easier to solder with an iron? Because it's designed to be different.
John Clayton says, can you do a price break for buying two at the same time?
There will be. Like, you can't see that right now. But, well, I don't know. Yes. Those astute people would have already noticed the price went from 69 to 65 since last week. I still haven't worked all that out. Right now, they should be $195 each, based on how long each one takes for me to make. But I've got a respin of the design currently at JLC PCB that will make them much quicker for me to do. So in answer to the castellated edges, firstly, castellation almost doubles the PCB cost. It's an extra cost for JLC PCB, and it's a cost per edge. I already have my Nano S3 that has castellated edges. So I didn't want to make another board that was castellated edges. I wanted to make a board that wasn't, so I could avoid the cost of castellated edges. The other problem with castellated edges is that they're not very sturdy. So people solder wires to these boards and use them not on a carrier board, and it's really easy to rip the pads off on the inside of the castellated edge because they're plated afterwards. They're not done as part of the normal process on the board. They're actually plated on a machine after the boards are made, which means that they're really not durable. So I already had a castellated board version. I wanted to make one that wasn't. And it also, there's no way to hold the board. I can't panelize it if it's castellated on 3 edges. So, yeah. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I'll work out pricing, John. Yeah, I just right now I don't even know how many people are going to buy them, the RGB Touch, and I don't know how many people are going to buy multiple ones. That wasn't really something I was expecting when I first designed it. The whole getting them talking to each other and sharing, drawing and games or whatever else was something that came much later in the process. So, yeah, I'll work something out. I will. I don't want to penalize anyone that wants to get more than one of them. BC547 said, is the impedance of the antenna 50 ohms? If so, all the filters on the antenna out pin really needed for optimal Wi-Fi performance. Big already has built-in impedance matching 50 ohms. So, firstly, the antenna is 50 ohms with these components here. Sorry, is that even here? These 3 components here are required for the antenna to be 50 ohms. There is no chip antenna that you can get that is 50 ohms when it's put on a board. Full stop. I mean, okay, I lie, I'm sure there's 1 or 2 out there, but there are in this case there are 5 components, and these 3 here are for antenna tuning, and these 2 here are for translation from 50 ohms to 30J0, which is what the chip is. So only the Pico D4 has got a 50 ohm impedance. But that said, yes, you 100% need the RF layout, because the second you stick it on a PCB, it completely changes the impedance. Regardless of what you set your trace to, everything around the board alters the impedance. So you have to have a match. No, you don't have to have a matching network, but there's no such thing as 50 ohm antenna, 50 ohm LNA pin. Here's a trace. Put it on a PCB, bang, and it's matched. Like that's just, it doesn't exist. Right? Everything about the characteristics of the board, the stack up, what other components you've got, how much. So this antenna radiates through the ground plane. How much clearance you've got on your ground plane, how well it's stitched, how continuous the ground plane is, all those things come into play. And then in the case of the ESP32S3, you have to suppress the harmonics, secondary, third harmonics. There's a harmonics issue on the chip. Well, there's a harmonics issue on every chip, but on the S3 it's pretty bad. So part of these two components here, not only does that translate between 50 and 30 based on my stack up, but it also filters out secondary and above harmonics. So, because if you get the harmonics, then what happens is you get too much power coming back to the TX line, and the chip will shut down the TX line. Impedance matching and all around. Matching and all around can also change the impedance. Absolutely. How much solder you put on the pads changes the impedance. Flux that you don't clean off changes the impedance. It's, I'm glad I have the skills to do this now, but I so wish that I didn't have to. Like, it's really not fun. Hey, Mad Techie. Yeah, the higher you go in the gigahertz range and above, the worse it is. So, yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay, so let's get on to KiCAD. And the whole purpose of this was wow, I'm going in circles. My brain is now gone in such a different direction to where I was planning it to go. Almost the phase of the moon changes impedance, at least it feels. The other thing to consider is, no matter how good you get it, you know, when you hold the board this way, it changes your radiation. When you hold it like this, it changes the radiation. When you hold it like this, it changes the radiation. When you put it on the table, it changes the radiation. When you like everything as you're moving it around, it's changing the radiation, right? ADHD mode. Anyway, yeah. So I have got this. This has gone off for prototyping at JLC PCB. This is something that I'll have in my store. So these are all things for my OMG board, right? For people who want to use their OMG board. So I'll have these in my store, but I'm also going to put the KiCAD design files, if it works, I hope it works, put the KiCAD design files in GitHub, so if people want to respin this, they can. But this is a, like I've got for my, where is it? Bum, bum, bum. Hello. Right. So this is my little programming jig. Okay, let me just go back to here. So for my, this is my test jig. This is how I flash and test my OMGS3 boards, right? So I got these custom pogos designed and manufactured for me. I got a bag of 1,000 of them. Doesn't look like much. There's 1,000 little tiny pogos in here. Hey Liam, how you doing? I'm not going to pull them out. They're tiny because they're 1.27 millimeter pitch pogos that are designed to not hang through the bottom of a board. So they're only 1 millimeter on the bottom that gets soldered into the board. And anyway, I had to get them custom made, which was, it was actually a pretty good experience considering. Once I found a manufacturer, and thank you very much to Richard Fry, who put me onto a company that he found, and they were great to work with. So that's what's inside there, inside that 3D print. There's a bunch of pogos. And that means that you can do solderless flashing and testing of a board. So I wanted to do this, I wanted to allow people to do the same thing. So I designed this, which is obviously all the pins, it's a bit different. It's not designed to go in a test jig. All the pins are broken out. And then there's spot to put pogos. They look like pins right now, but they're supposed to be pogos, right? And I'll have a 3D print design, kind of like what I've got on this, to protect the pogos and also for the bottom. And so if people want to be able to flash their OMG beforehand, they can do this. They can use this, right? They can either make their own or they can buy one from me, whatever. And of course there's the OMG USB board. Whoop, what happened there? Try it again. Sorry, that's where you double click. I'm going okay actually. Got a couple of issues at the start of the week, like, you know, my USB reset button and stuff, but yeah, no, good, going okay. Yeah, that was whatever. So there's also this that people can just use, but I want to make a carrier board. So the carrier board won't be pogos. The carrier board will be a board that if someone wants to solder their OMG S3 board to. And the carrier board, I'm not going to manufacture them. I don't think so. But it's going to be a reference design for people to use to integrate into their own designs if they want to, right? That's the whole point of it. So, like I've got a carrier reference board for my Nano S3, I want to have the same thing for the OMG. So that's what we're going to do now. Now I've already got a footprint. I'm going to go new project. way. I'm going to call this so I'm just doing this off screen. OMGS3 carrier. GS3 carrier. I'm calling it R1 as I do. So, I bet you I don't have them loaded. Oh, maybe I do. Cool. So, in GitHub, there is already a symbol and a footprint. So on the product page, even though it's currently still not available, on my ESP32S3 GitHub, put this on the both sides so they can reverse the headers. You can't turn it upside down. How does the board go on the pogos if it's upside down? I don't understand. The gravity will make the board's got to go on the pogos. That's the whole point of it. No worries, Max. Catch you later. So inside here, already there's like a 3D model of the OMGS3, and then there's KiCAD. There's for KiCAD 8, but there's a symbol and a footprint for OMGS3 in there. So that's what I'm going to be using now. So that's the symbol. Edit footprint. If it comes up, oh, came up on the other window. OMGS3. Okay. Save that. Open up the PCB. File. Just get everything. Get it in. Update. Okay. And there's the footprint. It's got a hopefully quite a clear, keep clear area. No copper at all. No traces, power or ground. I don't know if I can get that any clearer. Yeah. Okay, so what else do we need? There are some things I'm just going to copy and paste, I think, from another, like rather than having to go through and find all the footprints or all the symbols and stuff, I might just go and KiCAD, ESP32, I'm going to open up my Pogo board, which is called Pogo Yo, which I'm sure I'm going to get sued for. I'm just going to open the schematic for that, which is a pretty ugly schematic. I've not cleaned it up yet. I will at some point. And we're going to, okay, we're going to add some buttons. So we need a boot and a reset. What else do we need on the carrier board? Obviously we need USB. It's just easier to copy these in. Put a reverse backfeed diode. Do you want a power LED? Actually, that's, oh, don't know, I'll fix that one, just whatever. We're going to put some ESD protection on here. We probably should. Okay. What else do we need? So you got to remember, there's already battery charging on the board. There's already a fuel gauge on the board. So we don't need to worry about a charge LED. That's already on the board. It's already got RGB LED, blah, blah, blah. All we really need is I guess, is this. Actually, we don't need a power LED. There's already a power LED on the board. So I think this is all we need. Is this all we need? Battery connector. Thank you. Okay. We're going to put a... what do I call it? Microblade. I don't remember what I called it. Okay, I'm sure. Oh, symbol, of course. What am I doing? Okay, let's try that again. Whoop. Footprint, try that again. It's actually not a JST. I'm going to put a Pico blade on there, not a PH connector, just because of the size. I bet you these don't have footprints, do they? Oh, it does. Except a bit. Will it pick it up? Yeah, it's going to want that. Hey Peter, how you doing? Okay, USB, yep. These have got, oh, what? That's not right. Okay, so that's a resistor, so resistor. 0402 resistor. And that's also, God, that's an old legacy thing. Yep, good. Yep, good. Yep. Okay. So that's everything should have a footprint now. I hope. Update. Cannot add you to. Not found. Okay. So I normally I turn off all the values and references and everything else, and the quickest way to do that is just go to edit and text and graphics properties, which always comes up on my other monitor, and turn on all of those things and tell it to be not visible and selected items only. And that just goes bang and they're all gone. Yay. Let's work out what's happening with this USB connector. Okay. I'm not sure. Shield one. Oh, okay, right. I'll fix that. So I've got the shields connected to ground, but the shield, each one of these, anyway, yeah, there's a whole bunch of shield pins that need to be fixed. Hey, Hubbabower. Okay. USB. So, I guess, so as a carrier board, like it's supposed to be a reference design for the carrier, but we do we want to put header pins on it? Catch you later, Z80 user. Thanks for joining. Sorry, just looking back at chat. So we probably want some headers, don't we? And what do we want to break out? We want to break out all, I guess. Yeah. Hey, Omega Prime. Finally home. So what do we need? 25 pins. And of course I've got 12 pin headers. We need a 12 and a 13. Well, not really, because we don't want to break out D plus and D minus. They're going to be connected to the USB. So it leaves us 23. So a 12 and an 11. We can do that. So, already had it open. What? Oh, 01, 12. Oh my gosh. 01, 12. Pin, socket, who knows? Let's put it there, duplicate it. Actually, I don't want to duplicate it, so we want to add a 13. Okay. Flip it. Actually, flip that one and flip that one. Okay. Oh, we need it. KiCAD have made it really hard to select them now. Bit annoying. So we need a pin header, not 1mm. We need 2.54. We need an 11. Did I just do that on the 11? No, that's a 12. Let's copy that anyway. Wait, why is that 13? What? Didn't I want an 11 and a 12? Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. I did just set 11 and 12,
John
didn't
Clayton
I?
says, Forge, you said 23 pins,
Yeah.
not 25.
Yeah. Yeah, losing my mind. Hello. Yep. That's 11. Let's get them in. I'll add signals and stuff to them shortly. I just want to get a rough board layout. Okay. By the way, my 3D printer's going, in case you heard it or not. I mean, I'm basically going to turn this into a tiny S3. With a different pinout. You know, like... could have just brought my USB OMG in. Okay, I'm going to need those around there. Probably don't need this. This is just for backfeed. I'm going to need the battery somewhere. Battery connector. Maybe we'll put the 12 at the bottom and the 11 at the top. And I have to squeeze some buttons in. Wow. Why not use 12 pin headers and extra end pin never hurts? So the reason I don't like doing that, like if it's going to be an unnecessary pin, is because I like it when it's keyed. I like not having. I mean, I can do that, sure, Peter, and I might, but I like. So you'd be surprised how many times in the past with my tiny Pico that has 10 pins on each end, like for a carrier board or like my Explorer Shield or other things where people have plugged the board in the wrong way around. Like even though I normally put USB at this end, like on the silk screen, people plug things in back to front. Hey Pro Engineer, how you doing? So I like having, I like it when my headers are keyed, so you can only put them in one way. Well, you can still force them in the other way, right? But where it's more obvious. So, but yeah, I can put another ground on there, sure. It's an easy change to make. Right now, I just want to kind of see how big a board space I need. Got to remember, this is it's just a reference design, right? Good learning experience for them. Yeah, maybe good learning experience for them or bad board design by me. You never know. Okay, reset. Need a diode over here. I kind of roughly know where I'm going to need to put everything. Roughly. CC1 goes all the way up there. Love to see the Juki assembling THTs, you mean through holes. Can you fit it so the two rows are 6 inches apart? What in terms of for breadboard? Yeah, I haven't looked to go on a breadboard. Is that what you meant? Right now, I'm just trying to get a rough layout of the board. Like, I don't really want to have the header pins coming past here near the antenna area. There's no reason the USB needs to be in the center either. DIP24 package. So I think your requirements are really not what this is about, Peter. Or this is a reference design, so people can go and use this to. It's got everything they need to hack and change and do what they want for their own integration. This is not supposed to be the thing that people make to put their boards on. It's just a reference, right? Just a reference carrier. So it doesn't need to be DIP24 package compatible. For what purpose? Like, someone shouldn't be getting an OMGS3 and putting it onto a carrier board that then gets put into a DIP. Like, why would they do that? Like, there would have to be better things that they could do than that combination, if that makes sense. So I really want that to be right away from the antenna. So these won't even if they do end up being 12 and 12, they're not going to be lined up. Let's just change that to a 12 now. Change this as well, so it's J3. Okay. I mean, someone could use this reference design to design their own that does that, right? Okay, so we're probably going to also want to have another cap on the battery. If I called it BAT or VBAT? It's BAT, okay. And I don't know which. Normally don't like doing this, but I can't remember what pin I want on each there. Okay. There's already a cap on the battery pin on the board, but the trace is pretty far away in this case, so I'd rather put an extra one, although maybe I could get away with a smaller sized cap. Okay. So we're probably gonna, whoops. Further down, D minus. Oh my gosh. Keep spinning around in circles. Anyone hear the printer groaning? Okay. How am I going to get to that one? Maybe that. I normally have these sitting on the side. My CC1 and CC2. Okay, I've not set up any. Okay, let's set up some board things. Physical stack up. 1mm. I don't do 1.6mm boards. Don't really care about the color at the moment. Predefined sizes. Trace width 0.154. And probably 0. I don't know, 0.2. And via diameter 0.45, and it's going to be a 2-layer board, so 0.254 is the smallest via we can do. Okay. Shooter part. Has it got blocked with TPU? Managed to recover it. Yeah, TPU can be a pain. Definitely. Okay. Oh. Okay. Can I get that out? Great. I'll worry about the design later. Like right now, I just want to get something nutted out. Oh, no. Try it again. Not liking that. Why aren't you connecting? So sometimes KiCAD will join it and sometimes it won't. I'm not going to get... I need a ground in there. We're going to get a ground in there. Maybe. Nope. It's got no nets. Okay, I'll be able to get grounds in that. Except, will I be able to get the traces back out? I don't know. I feel like I'm just doing this all the wrong way. I should have done it from the other direction, I think. Buttons are going to be a little bit close together, I think. Maybe a bit hard to touch because of the headers. But again, this is about just seeing if I can get it roughly in place. I guess we want it to be breadboard friendly, so we'll worry about that in a second once I work out at least a corner for a board. So let's go 0.5 for our spacing just for the moment. Make sure we've got our constraints on. Now, it's not going to hurt to have that hanging over the edge. Okay. And if we set the bottom corner to 0, 0, we now, I just realised that's half off the edge. Cold coffee. So that is currently 19.5 millimeters width. If we get it down to, just for now, for 19. I mean, this is not about getting it narrow, or it's not about getting it the smallest it can be. It's about getting it, again, it's just a reference design. I keep saying that. Does everyone understand what I'm talking about as a reference design? Like, I want other people to be able to use this to understand how to integrate it themselves. Like a bare minimum. Like, people don't need USB. You know, they might be putting the OMGS3 on a board that doesn't have a USB connector, like it's being flashed some other way or whatever. But this is kind of just a... Not really. You're not really understanding? This is like, it's just a starting point design of, like, here's a design that you can use, change what you want on it to suit your purposes to integrate an OMGS3 board. I mean, you know, people might not have a requirement for headers. They might have they might have everything on their own board. Like, they might have other peripherals on there and whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, rather than just saying, here's a footprint, yeah, this is public. This design will be in GitHub. Like, people can download this KiCAD file and use it as a reference. Like, use it as a basis to design their own PCB, correct? You know, they don't have to put everything that's on here. Hey, Embedded Garage. Well, it's not about faster. You can use whatever tool you want. Like, there's I mean, JLC don't manufacture my boards for me. Sorry, don't assemble my boards for me. I don't buy all of my parts from LCSC. In fact, these days I buy very few parts from LCSC. So, it's whatever you're good at. It's whatever you're fast at. Whatever suits your purposes. So just realise that's not in the centre. So that'll be 4.5. And let's get it a nice even number. 19. 11. That's going to be the center point. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to draw a line so I can line up these headers. Kind of. Okay. Okay. So that all fits on there. Now we're going to work out what pins we're putting where. So if I move this for now, now put this just inside it. I'm not going to join them up, but just so I can see. Just easier, I guess. Yeah, isn't there a way in KiCAD now where you can tell it to add the pins automatically? Or do I place fields? No? What does does auto place fields do? No? I thought there was a way to have that happen. Anyone know what it is? I think it's etc. What? Right, but looking at components, you're limited to what JLC have got. Oh, U and N. What? U? No. Oh, U1, U2. I don't understand what you're saying, Yumbo Prime. I'm talking about how having it to automatically add all the signals. I thought that was the thing you could do in KiCAD now. I'm going to rotate that. I'll rename them afterwards. I'm just doing the easy way out right now. No problem in Bed Garage. Like, yeah, yeah, you asked what auto place, but Oslo, was it place pin array? I'm just gonna grab those, copy them, delete them. So what place pin array, or is it right click? Am I blind? I don't see. Oh, you're looking on the internet? Yeah, I was asking what auto place field was, but I don't understand what U1, U2 means. Like, I thought there was a way I could say, add all the signals. Oh, auto place field. But that's what I tried. Oh, auto place fields, and it's not doing anything. Yeah, I don't know. That's okay. Let's do this and rename them. It's not the end. Oops. Not the end of the world. I keep forgetting I don't have to double click anymore. I can just go into here. Although there's a lot of mouse moves doing this. It's actually easy to double click it. I realised I did I-O, lost the O. At 3v3. Plus, I'm sure there's a way to do this automatically based on the names. Be surprised if there wasn't. Oh my gosh, can't spell ground. Just hit E. Hey Quindor, what does E give me? E just goes to edit. Oh, right, you mean to edit the field. Right. Sorry. So I'm thinking for, cheat sheets. I thought there was a... Isn't F1. No. Doesn't F1... No, wrong key. Which one brings up the keyboard layout in KiCAD? Like all the key layout? I thought it was F1, but I'm on a Mac. New plans to the P4. I have a design that I'm... Whatever. So there's... I got to be careful what I say. There are P4 chips around at the moment. Then they are either engineering samples or they are further than engineering samples, but they are not they're not the chips that are going to be mass produced. I've had access to samples of those, and I said no. I've got samples coming of the chips, the Eco 2 chips that are going to be mass produced, because there's a pin change. So anyone that's making a design with the board right now, with the chip right now, the mass produced chips are not going to be drop-in compatible. It might only be a minor change, but they're not going to be drop-in compatible. And there's also a bunch of issues with the current chips that are out at the moment in terms of functionality. Things that aren't there or things that aren't working. Like you can use this as a design right now to test your layout, blah, 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 but this doesn't work and this doesn't work and this doesn't work and this, you can't use this and you can't use this and you can't use this. So I was all gung-ho at the start. No, way worse than that. No USB on the go. No. Anyway, so right, but I'm not really interested in getting one of their boards to test software because I make hardware, right? So I'm waiting for. I'm in the queue for samples for the Eco 2 version, and I'm going to wait for that because there's just no point in me designing anything around it that isn't going to be something that I can use with the chips that I'm going to get. And to be honest with you, I'm not overly excited about it because, like, what are people going to do with it? Like, you know what I mean? There are already chips in the market that can do what the P4 can do from other vendors. Like, there's no radio, which means you're limited to Ethernet and whatever. I mean, Espressiv's their thing is the radio space, right? I mean, the H series STM32s can already do everything that the P4 can do and have been out for a long time. And look, price comparison, no one really knows yet, right? That doesn't mean the P4 is a bad thing in any way, and it's going to have some cool things, sure. But at the end of the day, this is their first foray into something that isn't a cheap Wi-Fi / Bluetooth chip, right? And they've got a lot of catching up to do compared to other people already out there. So is the schematic open source I2C breakout looking to see how to switch I2C stuff? There's probably no schematic out there, but I don't. What do you need to know? Everything's on the pinout card. What do you mean by switch I2C stuff? You mean turn on and off the power to the second I2C? Look at the pinout card. It tells you what pin to do that. Right, you're excited about the Ethernet part, right? But Ethernet's already available in stacks of other, like STM32 chips and whatever, you know what I mean? But sure. Yeah. So you got to look at how long is it taking to get Arduino support for the C6, right? For the H2, and then consider that what's happening with Platform IO, right? I think that you know, the second the P4 drops Brindor, it could be 18 months before there's actually proper support in that space, in the Arduino space. Like, I don't know, it's yeah. So I don't even know what I'd do with it. What people, it's like, for me, it's like with FPGAs, like, sure, I see the appeal, but what am I going to do with it? Okay, so I'm just going to go directly across. Maybe I'll just do that. The Fit for Power tried low side switching and broke some... What? Low side switching and broke some modules. I don't understand. How can you break any modules? I don't... So this pin here turns on and off power. 3 enable. We'll have made a few demos, throw it in the drawer. Exactly, Michael. Learn Verilog, make a few demos, throw it in the drawer. Right, but again, lots of chips out there that already do that. It's, don't get me wrong, it's great that Espressif are playing in that space, and it'll be interesting to see what happens beyond the P4, I guess. But, you know, you look at the RP2350 and what it can do. I mean, they can use PIO, and they can, I shouldn't call it bit banging because it's not, but they can do HDMI from that, right? They can, you know, talk to HDMI screen. They can do all sorts of crazy stuff, well beyond what the P4 can do, because the fact that the PIO is totally user programmable, and it's a $1 MCU, and it's available now, and supports PSRAM and bigger flash, and you know what I mean, and you know, people have got USB host running off it and Ethernet running off it, and also they had that off the RP2040, and this is only even better now. So I feel like I don't know where Espressif are going with the P4. Like, it's, you know what I mean? I don't know. So Liam, I don't understand what you mean. You can't break any modules. Either they're powered or they're not powered, but they can't break. I don't understand. Maybe bring it up on my Discord. We'll chat about it on Discord. Maybe not YouTube chat, the best place for it. Cray re-implemented CAN bus in PIO. Yeah, it's just crazy what people are doing with PIO. Like, PIO turns out super duper powerful and flexible, right? And it's always going to win out over any dedicated peripheral, it looks like. So, no problems, Liam. Happy to help you. Yeah, maybe not now on YouTube stream is the way to go. Okay, I'm just going to go pin for pin for the moment. Just to start with. Ground reset 5 volts. Maybe not in that order, but anyway. We'll worry about the order of the pins in a moment. And do we need the... Yeah, I guess... Oops. Oh my gosh. Tough day at the office. That way. That way. another ground. Okay. Didn't people Sigma Delta and the parallel display driver on these P chips too? Sure, but it's still much more limiting than what they can do on PIO. I know it's a bit weird having IO0 there, but it'll probably just be easier to route to. And let's move these around. Okay, so that's all of the IO. That's everything broken out except for D plus, D minus, which we don't want to interfere with. Catch you later, Dave. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Have a good sleep. Let's update that. Okay. And I bet you I've got them upside down. Oh, I do. Look at that. Yay. Okay, 17. That's going to go to 2. Let's move it to 1. We'll move back to 2 in a moment. That's going to go to 17. Always put them back to front. There we go. That's better. Don't you want the other ground to be at the end too? At the which end? Ah, well, I'm going to change the pins anyway, the way they look. But yeah, I could do that. Sure. I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Ugh. Really? This courtyard is blocking my traces. And also, I hate the silk screen. Oop. Bye. Is that a good bit, Looney? Bye. Okay, better. Much better. Why can't I get out? What is going on? Ah, is that edge? Did I do that as an edge? Whoa, I need to fix that. That should not be an edge. That should be a drawing. Wow, I should need to fix that. User drawing. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. I think that's good now. I mean, we can check that by just now going to add OMG. Interesting. Will that pick it up directly from the library now? Let's find out. No. So I updated the file in... That should be pointing to the same place. Interesting. Okay, that's fine. I must have had it in my library first before I put it into GitHub. Yeah, okay, so we'll save it. Is it in there though, or is it? Library not found. Okay. I've fixed it on GitHub anyway. Are they using another GUI toolkit on the Macs? Yeah, they're native. Oh, actually, are they native? I don't know. They are using some UI toolkit, but it might not be the graphical side. I don't know. Okay, let's get back to doing this. Let's see if we've got enough space. Let's get a little closer. Come on. Stop being drunk, KiCAD. Okay. Battery. Oh, I0, that's fine. Gonna need wow. Yeah, I'll clean all this up, don't worry. Reset. $5. Okay. So obviously this is going to be a two-layer board. So, to decide how I'm going to get 5 volts over. So I would normally do a copper fill for that. I do that all the time. Window. Yeah, this is good. And then I'm still tweaking it forever later. You know, that should be the other way around. Oh, really? Why is that? Oh, because of that. You know what? Not liking it at all. At all. Whatever. 3.3. So where is this button? That's at 6. And that's 16, so it should be at, is that 16? 19. That should be 13. That's even worse. Anyway. Right angle warning. Where? What? Who? Where? Okay.
Intermit Tech says the reset.
The reset. What about the reset? This 90-degree angle. What's wrong with that? It is fine. It's 100% fine. You know what else is fine? That is also fine.
Intermit Tech says the reset will leak out of the corners and burn.
Yeah, no, it won't. Because firstly, the reset is such a fast... Wait, I need to check the polarity of my battery connector. Hang on. Dun, dun, dun. Let's get a Pro S3. Bum, bum, bum. That's what I thought. Other way round.
Intermit Tech says 5 terahertz reset signal.
Yeah. It's going to burn. It's going to burn the place down. Let's just flip those. There you go. Now they're the other way around. Okay. Battery. You know what? Would have been better if they were the other way around. Maybe. Anyway. Just for now. Just for now. Okay, what have I missed? Let's put a ground on. Let's do both. Ground, top and bottom. For shits and giggles. 127, 127. Don't like such big thermals. I hate how it does this. Remove. Well, actually, at home, I've got a shortcut for remove. But I haven't set it up here. Can't remember why. Okay, fill it. What issues we got?
Intermit Tech says hahaha. 0.127 millimeters clearance and GND. I'm building 48 volt boards. How about 1 millimeter or more?
Yeah. Oh, this is 5 volts or lower. God, I hate the default settings in here. Constraints. Minimum clearance 0.2. Minimum track width. Who cares? Minimum annular width. Really? Wait, minimum annular width. Is that what it just complained about? What did it just complain about? Track width via size via hole. I don't understand why this is all in two places. personally. But anyway. Annular width 0.1, actual is 0.098. Annular width. What have I got my boards normally set to? Annular width 0.05. Well, there you go. Fault clearance. What? Okay, what have I... Oh, the copper clearance to edge is 0.2. Oh, sorry. I normally don't set this up from scratch. I normally load it in from a different design, which I might just do now. Import settings from... let's import them from my Pogo board. Oh, there we go. Default clearance and ground. Okay, there we go. I knew there was going to be a thing. Fine. So I don't have any stitching anywhere here, but we probably should have. I'll do edge stitching shortly. Maybe. Doesn't really need proper edge stitching. Don't like that. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Anyway, whoops. Wow, that's sounding...
Intermit tech says root bat over IO0 through hole.
Well, battery over I0 through hole. Wait, what happened here? Well, I've got 12 errors now. Wires only connected to one layer. What? What vise only connected to one layer? Ah. Oh, interesting. Why is that not ground? Another thing I'll have to fix in the footprint. Okay, that's better. IO0 going over battery. What's wrong with that? What? Route battery over IO0 through hole. You mean here? Route it over. I'm not sure what you mean.
Intermit tech says to get it out of the way of the 3v3, route it through IO0 and IO14.
Yeah, mate, probably. Doesn't matter which direction I come from. Give me like that. Cool. Well, there we go. All that. Oh, not what you meant. Route it through I0. Oh, through here. No, I don't like doing that. You meant this. You meant through like that? Yeah, no. I will always avoid going through headers like that if I can. Yeah, there's no need. I mean, this works perfectly fine. And that can be there. Could be there. Okay, so make that 0.4, which is going to now have a hard tack, and I'm going to make that 0.4. So I'm going to have an issue with those ground wires now. No? Okay, good.
Intermit Tech says, do you ever use teardrops or rounded traces?
I was looking forward to teardrops coming in, and then I never got around to it. Like, I just... Yeah, like... I think they kind of look cool, but the fact that I have to go and turn them on, just, yeah, I never do. Weird, huh? I want to block that off there. And I really want to have some ground in between these. I want that. Oops. Okay. So where I can, like the D plus and D minus, honestly, in this case is not, it's not high speed enough that you really have to worry about impedance matching or anything, or length matching. Honestly, you don't. Anyone tells you you do for USB 2.0, liars. But anyway, what I do like to do though, if I can, is surround it by ground. So I think it's just nice for getting a perfect score on the FCC CE tests. What is? The teardrops. You can look at the multiple nets filtered and tells you total. What are we talking about? It's not that hard either. What, to use teardrops? Oh, right. Yeah, no, yeah. Ground stuff, yes. Hey, Mitchell. Yeah, no, it's more important than people realize. Like, I hate having stuff like this through here. Okay, in this case, it's not really going to make much of a difference. Oops. But yeah, I'm not a fan of leaving stuff, like they're all little antennas, right? So what I will generally do, is I would go through like here and put a, so do a keep out zone fill.
Intermit tech says inspect semicolon net inspector add D plus. D and you can easily see total length, including vias and such. Works very nicely now.
Okay, hang on. I didn't catch that. Just hold on a sec. Like, I'll often do stuff like this, right? And just blank out that whole section and not worry about what's happening with ground. I could even go as far as that. So what was that? So inspect, net inspector, add D plus D minus. You can easily see total length, including by... Oh, right. Yeah, you mean down here? Is this what... Or is this not the net... Whoops, what happened there? Oh, that's the search thing. So what? Inspect? Net inspector, is that the same? Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know. But again, what I'm saying is it's not really important. 21.9, 19.16. I could get them closer, sure. But in this particular case, it's more important to have ground around them than it is to, does that fit? Yeah.
Intermit tech says again, terahertz Sinjal. Everything will burn because of that 1 millimeter difference.
Okay, so I'm going to put the same up here. Gonna do these keep outs. And then normally I'd have stitching around the outside. So I'll put some stitching. It doesn't need a huge amount. But like it doesn't need stitching every single spot here. And what I'll generally do is just place some rough ones. And I'll grab them all. And then do the whole align, vertical to the bottom, and then align, distribute horizontally, and that then evens them out. And then I'll duplicate them while I've still got them and move them up. Obviously these ones here are no good. And you got to remember, that's a via already. So's that. Really doesn't need a lot. And you've got to be careful here. So this section here, I should have need to cut around that. Create a corner. Create a corner. Why is that not snapping? Better. Not great, but better. I'll clean those up shortly. It's tough on something like this to know where to stitch, like how much stitching is enough stitching. You basically don't want to have any islands that don't have, you know, like that's an island there, that's terrible, but we can fix that by doing this. Almost fix it by doing that. There we go. And we can make that a bit closer. Maybe not. That's not terrible, but there we go. We've broken that around there. We're better off not doing that. We're better off letting that loop and leaving that. Okay. I mean, I could keep adding vires everywhere. It gets to a point where there's just diminishing returns. Okay, so I mean, that's a, yeah. Ugh, ugh, ugh. So no labels or anything, but as a reference design, it's got USB, it's got some ESD protection, it's got battery broken out on the headers as well as a connector, and it's got a spot to solder on an OMGS3 board. This lead to higher returns though. More vires will lead to higher returns. What? But they're profit for the board maker. Higher returns. What? I don't understand. Higher returns. Higher returns as in ground return paths? Is that what you meant? You're being silly, Mitchell. Okay. So, I mean, that's honestly all this needs to be as a reference. I mean, the schematic looks shocking, so we'll need to fix that, which I don't know if I'm going to bother doing right this second. Title, OMGS3 reference carrier design revision R1 company. Oh, what happened there? OMG company expected maker. Oh, actually, while I'm at it, let's make it smaller. Not that grounded of a joke. More vires equals cost for you. Yeah, need more coffee. It's not more cost for me unless you get over a certain limit, which I'm nowhere near. And remember, like this, whether I make these or not, I don't think I'm going to make any. Like, I don't see if there's any point making them. But this is a reference design, but you need to be over 4,000 drill holes to get charged extra. Okay, we need to add an image. We need the OMG logo. If I can find it. If I can find it. Yeah, that'll do for the moment. Well, that's big. So yeah, so if you look at here, if I do an inspect, show board statistics. Alright, and you look at drill holes. Well, I've currently got 98, 104 drill holes, right? I can have 4,000 before I start getting charged. So, you know, if you look here, my OMG panel, right? There's a lot of boards there, and if I go to inspect board statistics, so I check this before I go into manufacturing. But here I've got like, so what is that? 1792 plus, God, I can't see it, plus 1148 plus 560 plus 4, 3,500 drills. So that's also under. But that prevented me. I could have actually had an extra row. Okay, there are 7. I could have gone 8. But that extra row took me over 4,000, which added an extra $16 to the cost of the panels. So, and at the end of the day, I didn't need to make 4 extra boards per panel, right? That's already a stack of boards on the panel. So, but yeah, I do check the number of drill holes because I get stung quite often. So you think of something like my Pro S3, which has got castellated edges as well. So that also counts as a drill hole. So for every pin, there's a hole and a castellation, so it's double the number of pins. Hey Technooblis, how you doing? So yeah, don't have an issue here with the number of eyes. What was I doing? All right. I mean, this is. I need a connector board under test. I don't know what that is there for. So this whole shield thing, this is really frustrating. This edit. Okay, so see here, each one of these has extra pin names. I really don't like how the pin thing happens. How this happens. Let's try that again. How do I have? Why isn't it coming up now? Why is the list coming up again? Oh, that is so frustrating. You see the list and then it has, no, so like my Pro S3 boards are over the limit. Every time I add those, I get stung. Every time I make a design change, I have to pay, or it doesn't matter, every time I get them remanufactured anyway, that extra cost is already in there. So, yeah, you got to be careful, but so that's really annoying that that list comes up sometimes and sometimes doesn't. Right, holding the thing. So see, anyway, shield 1, shield 2, see all those different shields? They should all link back to shield, which means they should all be ground. But in here, like when you do an import, you get this error warning, no net found for component, shield 1, 2, see all these different things? And it's really frustrating because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And these are supposed to be ground, but it doesn't make them ground. Anyway, I'll manually make them ground now. And no, we're not going to have a discussion now about whether the USB should be grounded or not. The shield should be grounded or not. I just make them all grounded now. I used to make them not grounded. Now I just make them grounded. Okay. The problem is if I do this again, update it, it'll clear them again. which is really annoying. Oh, I bet you that also cleared this. Oh no, it didn't. Okay, good. Make sure this is fine. Okay. So this is gonna need, I'll neaten all this up later today, and I'll get it in GitHub. That was all that needed to be. As I said, I'm probably not gonna get any of them made. I'm getting the Pogo ones made. The Pogo Yo. I need to start sorting these into, I've got little bags. So for those that want to get Pogos with their things, you have to solder them on yourself. I'm not selling the Pogo Yos with Pogo pins attached. You're gonna have to solder them yourself. 100%. They're absolutely doable, but they're actually not that hard to do. The trick is, although this will make it, I guess, a little harder if I don't have to send 2 PCBs each one, but what I do is I get 2 PCBs and stack them, and it holds the Pogos in place, and I solder one end. Anyway, I'll work it out. I'll work something out. Okay, so I actually got a board designed and finished today. It's been a while since I've I mean, it wasn't a hard board, but I normally get 3/4 of the board done, and then I go, yeah, can't be bothered finishing it on stream. They're a bit harder to friction fit. The Pogos, you definitely can't friction fit the Pogos, these Pogos. Not at all. JLC won't even do a hole small enough to friction fit them. And their tolerances on their drills, like their plus and minus, is way too broad for you to ever rely on doing a friction fit for them. But as I mentioned, these Pogos have only got a 1mm through hole insert bit. So they don't stick through the other side. So when you're soldering them, hang on, where'd I put it? Oh my god, I just had it in my hand. Yeah. Let me show you, might not be able to see under the DSLR, we'll try. So you see here, maybe, oop, they don't stick out, the Pogos, it's flush. That was done on purpose. So when you're soldering them, you're soldering the pinhole at the actual point. Like it works fine, but they don't actually stick through like a through hole does normally. So makes them maybe a little bit harder to solder, but not. So, yeah, hard to explain. But that was a necessity for using the Pogos on my OMG USBs as well. So then take one out. I'm going to lose it, guaranteed. One. Zip it up. Okay, there's a little tiny Pogo. See? They're really small. And see, I can't even grab it with my hand. But they are designed to go in like, you can't even see it. There you go. Like, so for those that want to put Pogos on one of these, because you can flash the board just with the 7 pins on the end. You don't need Pogos on the sides to be able to flash the board. So if people want to, flash a board before they put them on something, they can do that. Or flash it after, whatever. You can do that. So, yeah, but it's designed to not go through so it can sit flush. Except when you knock it. Yeah, I'm going to put this one away before I lose it. think that went back in the bag. Okay, well, I think that's maybe the end. Cold bit of coffee. Not sure what else there is to tell you, talk about. So the OMG USB Pogo is DR. Yes, if you order an USB board with the Pogo option, the Pogos come separately. 100%. I'm not sitting here soldering Pogos. Like, the cost on the board would go up by 100 times if I have to sit there and solder everyone's Pogos. I don't even like soldering my own Pogos. I have to say, though, they were pretty good to solder. But, thanks, Osloy. I'm glad you said experienced person and not professional person. I'm actually glad you said that. Yeah. It was a pretty nothing PCB though, but yes. Yeah, it's going to be the same with the Pogo Yo. I don't want to be sitting there doing Pogos. I'm also worried about them breaking off during shipping. I'm glad you did replace it, because I'm not a professional. As in, I'm not formally trained in EE at all. I'm not a qualified EE. I'm a self-taught person, which means if I can do it, you can all do it. So I do, but that doesn't necessarily, that's a muddy water of what professional means. Do I do it as a profession? Yes. But doing it as my job doesn't make me a professional. As in, it doesn't make me qualified. What's your profession? It's a weird word. Like, what does it really mean? Like, I own a company, sole employee, that designs and manufactures electronics. But that doesn't mean, like, professional means different things to different people, right? It's my profession, and the fact that I do it for a living, I guess, makes me a professional, except I'm not qualified, as in I have no certification. Right, I'm not formally trained, but in, like, Australia, for instance, it's not just a formally trained thing, it's a actual qualification. Like, like, it doesn't matter, I could do 30 years of doing things that a doctor does, and I could never call myself a doctor, right? So, can I legally call myself an electronic engineer in Australia? No, because that's actually a legal qualification, like doctor. I mean, not doctor in terms of your name, but like as in it's an actual qualification, right, that you can hold in your hand. So it's a very tricky thing. As I said, especially in Australia, it's a tricky thing. Like John Oxo has had the same problem where, there's even questions about whether you're legally allowed to offer services to other people without the qualification or not. And those with the qualification will always fight that we shouldn't be allowed to. Anyway. It's yeah. Plus, imposter syndrome and all that. I had the same thing when I was a game dev. I got the same thing now. Try to push through, get over it. There's often...
Intermit Tech says raise his hand.
You raising your hand for imposter syndrome? Yeah. It's a real thing. And it's a very unhelpful thing. There are days where you really question your ability and your you question your skill and ability which then makes you question your decisions, which then makes you question your self-worth. That gets you in this spiral that is just really terrible. It really is. Catch you later, Christian. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. Have a good sleep. Right, well then there's also questioning your sanity. Like, I question my sanity and my life choices all the time. Like, what am I doing here? Like,
Intermit
This
Tech
was-
says, oh man, I know, I always try to look back to past projects and products and see how those turned out.
yeah, but that's a double-edged sword as well, Quindor, because that's, you know, like, I can look at any of my things that I made and I could think of 50 things I could have done better, different. I mean, hindsight's great, right? Sometimes I feel like I don't learn, you know, like the whole, you missed the start. Like, so all my
Intermit Tech says, yeah, but you faced those same moments during development and doing those and they still turned out good.
Sometimes, right. But then I make a whole bunch of these and realize that I wired up the reset button wrong and they don't work, right? And I lost a bunch down the drain. Like, you know, you'd think I'd have stuff like that down pat. And it wasn't that I wired it wrong. I made it like it. I attached another trace with it, and it renamed the trace. It must have come up with a dialogue saying, "Are you sure you want to be renaming stuff?" And I said yes, not realizing the button was touching it. Right, so it renamed the trace on that. Passed DRC, no problem. If I would have done an ERC check, it would have come up saying there's a problem. But if I do an ERC check, I only generally do it at the start, because once it's in the board, I technically shouldn't have to worry about it. But in this particular case, you know what I mean? I didn't check it properly, and, you know, I always run DRC, always, before I hit go on the make Gerbers, and it didn't pick up a problem because there wasn't a problem. There was a problem with the design, but there wasn't like an electrical problem. And then I think to myself, what a stupid mistake, like, and a costly mistake. You know, like on that panel of boards, I paid extra because they're only 10mm spacing, and I paid extra because I wanted them black, right? And so they were not a cheap panel, and I wrecked them all. Thank God I only built one panel, you know what I mean, to validate the boards, and straight away found a problem. But you know, it's probably my least complex design I've done in about 3 years, and I screwed it. Yeah, I know, it just happens. I know. Hello, Amanda. How you doing? You have a ET, EE, and RM, but I don't call myself a professional. Wait. So I know what an E is. What's an ET? And what's an RM? Wait. Too many acronyms. I know the ADHD, ASD ones, but not the professional ones. What's an ET? And an RM? I'm just reading back, sorry. Your worth is not based on your productivity. I don't know, Jishipu. When you're running your own business and it's your family's only sole income, then your worth is quite clearly linked to your productivity. Unfortunately. Electronic trades and RM equals radio mechanic. Oh, wow. I've never heard of electronic trades before. Radio mechanic I have. Very cool. That's a lot of qualifications. That's many years at university, I would say, and then whatever. Any of those certifications you got on the job afterwards? I bet you were running a production cheaper than any regular company would be able to, including... Sure, and I'm still going backwards financially every month. So, you know, that doesn't make you feel good. It's not extraterrestrial. The Air Force. Have you mentioned that on John's stream before? You're in the Air Force? I don't recall that. But right, great place to learn all that stuff. ET phone home. Yeah. Yeah, that learning bat sometimes hits hard, doesn't it? When you least expect it. How long's that print got to go? It's almost done. More cases. 22 minutes to go for another 3 cases of RGB Touch. I'm hoping I'm going to release... So, as I said, I was going to release OMGS3 yesterday, but then I had the issue with the boards, the USBs. I need to wait for the USBs to come. And I don't know when I'm going to release RGB Touch because, again, it's all code related and I think my code sucks. So I'm worried about releasing it. Everyone's going to laugh. Whatever. I'll get over it. Okay, folks, I'm going to go. I'm going to go grab a coffee and go feel sorry for myself in the corner. No, not really. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. Well, you can take a look. It's going to be public soon when the code's out. No, it's yeah. I'll never think my code's good, no matter how good my code is. Right? It's because it's something I don't want to be doing, so I'll always be negative about it. But anyway, thank you all. Appreciate the chat. And yeah, catch you all next week. I hope you have a fantastic week, everyone. Okay, bye. I've lost the end button. There it is. Okay. Bye.